It's a real joy. I'm actually sitting right here in the middle of Bhaktivedanta Manor, and it's the weather is outstanding. The birds that sing in these trees, they're quite unique. Their songs and their sweetness, the coolness of the morning air. It's just outstanding. You look outside and so many lovely flowers, and then you step into the temple room and you see the devotees chanting in front of Shri Radha Gokulananda, and it's like it really is a glimpse of what it feels like, what I imagine what it would feel like to be in the spiritual world. And all the devotees that have been coming to these sessions, all the devotees that I see here in person or online, every one of you, you're an exemplary devotee in so many ways, and you're inspiring me to really embrace again and again this process of chanting, this process of sharing, this process of serving. There's no joy greater. There's no success more meaningful than Krishna consciousness. So thank you all. My obeisances to all of you. I'm going to share something this morning as requested by Trupti Mataji last night. Based on, she said, can we talk about this book? So I thought, sure. So I did a refresh of the book. Took me some time to put this together, but I think it's worth it. So we'll get started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So thank you, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to the Prabhupada. Today, I would like to reflect with you on a very personal and practical book by my spiritual master, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj. This book is called Japa Walks, Japa Talks. Most of you probably know Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj. He's one of ISKCON's senior most authors and spiritual leaders, spiritual masters. He authored the famous Prabhupada Lilamrit multi-volume and many other books on Srila Prabhupada, as well as books on Japa, these 5 books on Japa, and about 300 other books. So definitely lots of reading material that Guru Maharaj has shared with his deep reflections. I credit everything I know and whatever good that anybody sees in me to the mercy of my spiritual master and to the knowledge that he shared, especially in his books and his personal example. This book is called Japa Walks, Japa Talks. This is not a book written from a high platform of distant theory. It's a book written from the road, from the morning air, from the struggle of a chanter, who is walking, chanting, observing his mind, observing nature, hearing devotees' honest questions, and trying to keep returning to the holy name. That makes it especially relevant for us because we are also walking. We're walking, maybe not always through the quiet lanes of County Wicklow in Ireland. That's where he wrote the book. But maybe through London Underground, its underground stations, or school drop-offs, or moving through motorway traffic. We're navigating through office demands, family obligations, WhatsApp messages, and all the psychological noise of modern UK life. But we're all walking in one sense. The real question is, can our life become a Japa walk? Can we learn to carry the holy name not as just one more item on our to-do list, but as a central thread of our day, as the most meaningful, exciting, thrilling part that our heart looks forward to? Shouldn't be just like a shopping list, tomatoes, cabbage, get her 16 rounds done, pick up the laundry. It has to be something more meaningful than that. Can we learn to carry that holy name in that way? So today's class is not meant to be a guilt session. Guilt doesn't work so much. It's not meant to make us feel that we are all hopeless chanters. My Guru Maharaj is honest here, but he's not hopeless. He admits struggle, but he never glorifies defeat. He teaches that the honest chanter does not pretend to have taste, but also doesn't surrender to tastelessness. So our theme today is simple. How can serious devotees living in a busy UK environment practically improve japa? Not in fantasy, not by inventing some kind of mystical shortcuts, not by waiting for life to become perfectly peaceful or some kind of perfection, perfect life, no. But by taking the holy name itself seriously, giving it time, giving it space, giving it the dignity it deserves, and returning to the sacred sound again and again and again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And again. Guru Maharaj begins with a very charming observation. Devotees say, hey, can we go on a japa walk? Let's go on a japa walk. But often what they really mean is, let's go on a japa talk. He's not against talking. Devotees need confidential exchange. Devotees need to share realizations. Devotees need Krishna Katha. But he makes one very important point. Talking, even good talking, should not become a substitute for chanting. That is such an important point for progressive devotees. Sometimes our devotional life becomes full of Krishna conscious talks, Krishna conscious conversations, Krishna conscious planning, Krishna conscious meetings, Krishna conscious analysis, Krishna conscious services. But the actual direct encounter with the holy name becomes weak. A japa walk must be disciplined. Some time should be there for uninterrupted japa, focused japa. Then, if needed, there can be time for talk. For us in the modern world, in UK, this applies very practically. We may say, I'm going to chant with devotees, but then we spend half the time greeting, discussing, checking messages, sharing updates. And by the end, the beads have moved a little bit, but the heart has not really been placed before the name. So our first improvement, the first improvement is not very complicated. Protect the japa space. If we chant in the temple room, make it japa, focus japa. If we chant in the park, make it japa. If we chant while walking near the manor, or in Leicester, or in Birmingham, or in Crawley, in Soho, or quiet residential road, make it japa. If we chant at home before work, make it japa, exclusive japa. This means we create a boundary. For this period, I'm not available to the phone. I'm not available for casual talk. I'm not available for the endless inner committee of the mind. I am available to the holy name fully. We have to be cognizant of who we are available to and equally cognizant of who we're not available to. Remind ourselves, I'm not available to these things. So the first lesson is this. Do not allow even good things, because these are good things, talking about how we can do more service. Don't allow even good things to steal the place of the best thing. Japa means that the tongue chants, the ear hears, and the heart tries to come near. It's as simple as that. Focus on the sound. Now, one of the most powerful features of this book is Guru Maharaj's honesty. He admits that sometimes chanting feels like a grind. Sometimes the rounds move like a motor. Sometimes the mind is dull. Sometimes the road is bumpy. Sometimes there's little taste, very little. But his conclusion is not, therefore, what's the use? No, his conclusion is, I have no alternative but to go on with this very best process and practice it as best I can. As best I can. This is what's called progressive devotee honesty. There's immature negativity, and then there's mature honesty. Immature negativity says, my japa is bad, so I am bad, and therefore I may as well remain bad. Maybe it'll keep me humble because I'm always bad. This way I'll always be humble. If I become good at chanting, maybe I'll be proud. Let me just remain bad at chanting. That's immature negativity. Mature honesty says, my japa needs help. Therefore, I must become more serious. I must become more humble, more prayerful, and more practical. Need to work to make this better. This is very important for our UK Japa group here. In our modern environment, many devotees are emotionally tired. People are working hard. Commuting in this London area is exhausting. Family life is demanding. The climate itself in London today is beautiful, but for the most part, it tends to be gray and heavy. Sometimes even devotees who are sincere feel dry inside. So here Satsvarup Maharaj helps us understand that dryness is not proof that the holy name is absent. It's just proof that we need to keep taking shelter. We should not pretend, but we should also not despair. A chanter may say, I am distracted. Good, that's honest, because now you've identified the problem. But the next sentence must be, still I will chant. Still I will chant. No matter what. There's nothing better to do. There's nothing in all 14 worlds to be had other than chanting. Where else am I going to go? I have to improve my connection with the name. The chanter may say, I do not have taste. Good, that's honest. But the next sentence must be, still I will beg for taste. I will beg. My Lord, please let me develop a little taste so I can go on and on, chanting your beautiful names. A chanter may say, my mind wanders. Good, that is honest. But the next sentence must be, still I will return to the sound from wherever the mind wanders. I'll keep returning, keep returning. Our identity is not that I am a distracted chanter. Our identity is that I am a servant of the holy name who is learning to chant. And very quickly, by the mercy of the Lord, I'll get some taste, I'll get some focus, be able to really give attention. I'll keep returning to the holy name. And I'll practice. I'll keep practicing. One of Guru Maharaj's clearest instructions in the book is that we must give chanting priority in a practical way in our daily schedule. He knows that we know our rhythms. We know when we have strength and peace of mind. That time should be offered to the holy name. This is where modern life becomes very real. Many devotees say, I value japa. But if you look at the schedule, the value is not visible. The phone gets prime time. Work gets prime time. Family logistics get prime time. News gets prime time. Social media gets prime time. Even our worries may not put it on the calendar, but they get your prime time and prime attention. And japa gets whatever is leftover time. But love is shown by priority. That's how you show love. For a modern UK devotee, this means we need to design a realistic japa architecture. architecture. When do I chant best? Before the children wake up, after Mangalarti, during a protected morning walk, before opening emails, on the train with headphones off and phone away, in the temple before seva begins. There is no single formula for everyone, but there must be a deliberate formula for each of us. Custom one that works for you, that really shows Krishna that I'm interested and I care, and the priority of it should reflect that. The householder may say, but I have children. Yes, and here Guru Maharaj addresses householders very compassionately. Family duties are real. Work duties are real. Mortgage, bills, school runs, elder care, health issues, these are all real. But japa is also real. All of us face these responsibilities. I've gone through, I still go through them. And it keeps getting sometimes heavier. But our japa is real. So what's the answer? The answer is not to deny life. The answer is to place japa inside life as a non-negotiable sacred appointment. There's no negotiations here. This is the top priority for me. I want to give Krishna the fresh japa, not leftover japa, not emergency japa, not half asleep japa at the edge of midnight, not round squeeze between cracks of distractions. At least some of our japa rounds must be given royal treatment. I mean, you're in England, UK, you know this word royal. Royal treatment. The holy name is Krishna. Krishna should not always receive the exhausted end of our attention. Yes, we're trying and struggling, but we're offering him the exhausted, worn out end of our day. Love is shown by priority. So design a realistic schedule. A very practical section of the book addresses the mind. One devotee describes trying to control the mind during japa as a losing battle. Guru Maharaj says that until we are liberated, it may often feel like that. It's just losing battle. That's a very relieving point. We should not have a childish expectation that during japa, the mind will automatically become completely silent. It's not going to happen. The mind has stored impressions, desires, fears, anxieties, fantasies, grievances, plans, memories, unfinished emotional business. It's constantly trying to process this. And if it's not doing while we're awake, it'll process it while we're sleeping. Doesn't let go. That's why it's a little hard for us to do what we want to do. So during japa, all of that begins to speak to us. But the important question is, what do we do when the mind speaks? So Guru Maharaj gives a few options. Tolerate it. Keep returning back to the first Hare of your Mahamantra. Just ignore it. Dovetail some of the mental flow. But most importantly, do not take the mind so seriously. What? Don't take it seriously? Yeah, this is a major breakthrough. Many devotees make the mind the center of the chanting experience. They chant one mantra, then analyze the mind and what we're thinking about. Another mantra, then they fight the mind, wrestle with it. And another mantra, then judge the mind. Another mantra, then become depressed about the mind. In this way, the mind still remains the main object of our meditation. But japa is not meditation on the mind. Japa is meditation on the holy name. So when the mind runs, we do not need to hold a committee meeting with the mind. We do not need to write a psychological biography of every distraction. We do not even we should not even become shocked that the mind is restless. We just simply return, just ignore, tolerate, bring it back. Modern UK life. The mind may bring work emails and immigration issues and family tension, health worries and temple responsibilities, all that. These may be real concerns, not downplaying them, but during japa, we can say, I will deal with you later. Right now I'm hearing, just wait outside the door. Right now is my time with the holy name. Learn to say that to the mind. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. My whole focus is now on that first Hare and really just bringing the mind there. Don't visualize anything. If I visualize anything, I'll visualize the letters, Hare Krishna, like, that's it. I visualize the sound coming out from my mouth, going to the ears. That's the extent of the visualization we want to do. We don't visualize anything else. There's no room for bringing in other thoughts. No even room for Krishna Katha even. We don't need to add layers. Everything is there in the holy name, the sound of the holy name. Krishna is fully present. There's no need to add layers to it. There's no need to bring in mind in that, because then the mind takes off all over the place. Just focus on the sound. When the mind leaves, bring it back to the sound. As simple as that. So the practice is not that the mind never leaves. We know that it leaves. The practice is that every time it leaves, we bring it back to the sound. And every time we bring it back to the sound, that's an offering of bhakti. It's an act of bhakti. Something we can offer to the lotus feet of the Lord. One of the most practical discussions in the book concerns bad japa habits. A devotee admits chanting while watering the garden, driving the car, holding the baby, just simply getting rounds done whenever possible. That's fine. Guru Maharaj does not respond with cruelty. He's compassionate. He understands household duties. But he also says clearly, the day should be structured around priority for japa. This is very relevant for us. In our modern life, multitasking is normal. In fact, we feel that we can't survive unless we multitask. People walk and text, they eat and scroll. I mean, they can't, sometimes the food doesn't even go down unless they scroll a little bit on the phone. Drive and call, work and send messages. Even while resting, they're consuming media. So naturally, this multitasking disease enters our japa. It's just very natural. We chant while cooking, chant while checking WhatsApp, chant while walking through the shops and window shopping, chant while driving, chant while half watching something else, chant while the mind is absorbed in a dozen other things. Of course, there may be emergency days, there may be unavoidable circumstances. The holy name is merciful. We should chant in all situations for sure, but we should not make emergency chanting our standard chanting. The minimum reform is this: identify your protected rounds, the golden rounds, the royal golds. Maybe all 16 cannot yet be ideal. That's okay, but can four be golden rounds? Can 4 be really protected, solid, focused? Can 8 be protected? Can the first round be sacred and the last round be prayerful? Can we build from there? This is a question we can ask ourselves. Guru Maharaj is not teaching fanaticism, he's teaching seriousness. The holy name is not an audio track behind our real life. The holy name is our real life. So let us each ask, what is one bad japa habit I can reform this week? You don't try to make excuses. There's no other choice. Look at my calendar, my schedule. Unless I do multitasking, there's no hope. I might as well give up. No. Do at least a few good, focused, exclusive, golden rounds, please. This idea that there's just not possible, that's not true. You know it's not true. Give yourself that much dignity. The holy name is our real life. So let us each ask, what is this one bad japa habit that I can reform this week? Phone in another room, that's a good one. It's another room completely. No chanting while driving, that's good. No chanting while in the bed, that's good. No chanting while scrolling, of course, that has to drop right away. No conversations during rounds, try that. No rushing the last round at night. Slow down, don't rush it through. Progressive devotees do not improve by vague inspiration alone. We improve by honest reform and concrete commitments that you make to yourself and to the Lord. That's how we improve. Baby steps, but make them concrete. Don't hide or don't lose out on opportunities for genuine improvement behind the cloud of vague inspiration. Be specific. So Guru Maharaj addresses a question. Why do we say chanting is easy when it feels difficult? So his answer is very balanced. He says chanting is easy compared to Ashtanga Yoga. And anyone can just vibrate the mantra. One can chant while sitting or standing, walking. You can be old, you can be young, you can be educated or uneducated. Even the mechanical chanting brings some benefit, of course. But to chant with prayer, to chant with attention and tears and surrender and deep absorption is not cheap. So this understanding protects us from two mistakes. First mistake is discouragement, which is what? Chanting is too hard, so I cannot do it. The second mistake is cheapness. Chanting is so easy, so I do not need to give my heart in it. Just leave my heart out of it. Both are wrong. Both are wrong. Chanting is accessible, but it's not shallow. This japa process. It's simple, but it's not superficial. It's very easy to begin, but it's unlimitedly deep. It's like learning how to play chess, right? You can learn the rules in half an hour, but it takes a lifetime to become an expert, to become deep. Chanting is unlimitedly deep. Satsur Maharaj also warns against quick techniques that promise instant results. Someone may say, try this method for 2 weeks and all the envy will vanish. You'll have spiritual dreams, your mind will be controlled, and everything will change. Guru Maharaj is cautious about that. Real chanting is a long-haul commitment to undo our mental conditioning from many lifetimes. It's a project, but we have to work on it every day. It's important for our modern life in UK. We're surrounded by productivity hacks, wellness hacks, meditation hacks, sleep hacks, focus hacks, and even spiritual hacks. The holy name is not a hack. It's not cheap. The holy name is Krishna himself. We're not trying to master the name. We are trying to become mastered by the name. The name is our boss. We are the servant of the name. There may be helpful supports, of course. Good posture, clear pronunciation, early rising, walking. If you're feeling sleepy, you walk. Avoid the phone, chanting with devotees, reading before japa. These are all good things. Praying before beginning, we must do. These are all very useful. They're super powerful. But the essence is not a technique. The essence is the surrender part of it. If you've done the 4 gates to japa, the first 3 gates are our technique. The 4th gate is our surrender. That's where the magic happens, actually. It's surrender. We're not trying to master the holy name, like I said. We're trying to be the servant. We're trying to be mastered by the holy name. One of the most touching parts of the book is when devotees remember, like those who have been chanting for many years, and they remember the early excitement in chanting, the first beads, the first secret japa walk when I didn't tell anybody where I'm going. Oh, thrilling, the first feeling that these are the beads I will chant on for the rest of my life. It's exhilarating, ecstatic. Then years pass. Life wears on. Marriage, children, work, service, health, disappointments, institutional responsibilities, and the heaviness of adulthood they enter. I mean, I'm just sharing my personal path, my personal journey. Because when I first discovered this, I wasn't quite an adult. I was very, very happy to have this process. I found it very thrilling that these beads, there's a doorway to spiritual life, to contact Krishna. It was wonderful. But then these other things did come in. The beads are no longer new. The excitement is no longer that fresh. Chanting may sometimes feel like a chore. Guru Maharaj does not say, just go back and feel exactly what you felt before. We cannot artificially become beginners again. But he says something deeper, that the sense of wonder, that wonder is not over. It is matured. Your beads may no longer be new. They may be worn down by years of effort. That is not tragic. That is beautiful. Those beads are rounded now. They're shiny. They're smooth. Those beads have passed through your fingers during joyful days and dry days, festival days and hospital days, confident days and broken days, days of faith, days of great confusion. They have witnessed your promise to Srila Prabhupada and your promise to the spiritual master. They have witnessed your survival. Those beads are something special. So for modern UK devotees, this is powerful. Many of you are not new. You have weathered years of service. You've seen communities change. You've seen leaders change. You've seen your own family circumstances change dramatically. Your own body and mind change. But the holy name has not changed. The holy name remains. It has always remained. So don't compare today's japa to the emotional electricity of the first days. Instead, ask this, can I find deeper tenderness now? Not the excitement of novelty, but the deep affection of years of loyalty. Take your beads in your hand and think, I am still here. Krishna has not rejected me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here chanting. Srila Prabhupada has not abandoned me, even though I'm, kind of a rascal. The holy name is still willing to be touched by my tongue. Krishna is so kind. That is a sense of wonder. Not childish wonder, but a mature sense of wonder. The spark. The inner child. Another key point from the book is that japa is not isolated from the rest of life. Satsuru Maharaj explains that if we are cruel, fault-finding, overeating, acting in nonsense ways, it does affect our chanting. This is a pretty progressive, advanced point. Sometimes we ask, how can I improve my 2 hours of japa? But Krishna may ask, how are you living the other 22 hours? If I spend my day absorbed in criticism, my japa absorbs that mood. If we overconsume media, our japa becomes crowded with images and voices from that. And nowadays, when you scroll, it's just a variety. Every few seconds, you scroll to the next little video clip, and you get overflooded. And then the mind, you can't help it when the mind goes to those images when you're chanting. If we neglect our sleep, our japa becomes a battle with the body. And if we overeat day after day after day, or at night maybe too late, then our morning round becomes heavy. You know this is our experience. If we maintain unresolved conflicts, our beads become the courtroom where we practice what we're going to say. If we live in constant digital stimulation, then the simple sound of the Mahamantra may feel too quiet, not enough. So japa improvement is not just a bead bag issue, it's a lifestyle issue. So for a modern UK lifestyle, this is essential. The environment is stimulating, it's fast. Look at London and, so many things. Piccadilly Circus makes our whole life a circus. It's stimulating, it's fast, it's noisy, psychologically demanding. So what do? We have to simplify where we can. Simplify. Before sleep, reduce agitation. Unwind. In the morning, do not touch the phone before touching the beads. Use a clock. Somebody say, oh, I need to check the time. And then you check the time and all the pop-ups are, then that's the end of that. Get a clock so you don't have to look at your phone. Choose association that strengthens our faith. Choose reading that awakens our devotion. Choose food that supports clarity of body and mind. And choose speech that doesn't poison the heart. Of course, this doesn't mean that we become artificially sannyasis, renunciates. It means we become intelligent practitioners. The quality of japa is prepared before japa begins. Not, this is now I'm going to focus on the japa now. Of course, no. The other hours are what matter too. Peaceful evening helps the morning japa. Respectful relationships where you're tolerating, forgiven, they help your japa. Controlled media intake, it helps your japa. Simpler food, is better on your body, that helps your japa. Honest service, humility, these help your japa big time. So if we want the holy name to enter the heart, we should make the heart a more hospitable place. Of course, outside, we clean ourselves, make a sacred space and clean the room, but we should do the same thing with the heart by making sure we're not cluttering and contaminating it. Near the end of the book, Guru Maharaj says something very tender. He says, chanting is my friend. He even says chanting may be called his best friend because chanting is Krishna. The name is Krishna. This is the mood I would like us to leave with today. Japa is not our enemy. Japa is not the daily punishment of initiated life. Japa is not the tax we pay before we're allowed to do service. Japa is not a measuring yardstick to prove our failure. No, japa is our friend. Friend. When no one else can enter the inner room of our heart, the holy name can enter. It's a very close friend. Only you are allowed, my Lord, in this innermost chamber of my heart. That's special. When our mind is wild, the holy name remains patient. When we are ashamed, the holy name still comes. When we are tired, the holy name waits for us. When we are proud, the holy name purifies us. When we are lonely, the holy name gives us company, walks beside us. And when modern UK life becomes too much, the holy name gives us a path through the noise. So let's take a few practical commitments from this class. First, protect some uninterrupted japa every day. Protect it. Second, give japa prime time space in your schedule. Third, stop making the mind the center. Return to the sound. Fourth, reform one bad habit at a time. Fifth, don't despair during your dryness. Persist, keep going. Sixth, make the rest of your life support your chanting, support the beats. And seventh, chant with prayer. Not merely, let me finish, but rather, Oh Krishna, please let me hear. Oh Srimati Radharani, please let me serve. Oh holy name, please allow me to come closer. If we do this, then even our streets and our trains and our homes and offices and temple courtyards can become japa walks. We may still talk sometimes. We may still struggle sometimes. We may still feel dry sometimes, but we will keep walking. And if we keep walking with the holy name, one day we will realize that Krishna was walking with us all along. So thank you all very much for your kind attention and your valuable time. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Bol. So maybe we can take some comments or questions this time.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much for another amazing talk. What I took away from this, one of the main things is to be honest with yourself, to admit that you maybe are struggling with your chanting, and some clear ways to remove that. It reminded me of this the poem by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, "The Chant Anyway," poem which I think we've spoken about on our morning calls before. I think we all struggle, and I think we all need senior devotees such as yourself to come and sometimes remind us that we all struggle and that it's okay to struggle, but carry on, continue, identify where you're struggling, and one by one get rid of those bad habits. So thank you very much for that. I think Romani Mataji has a question.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Is it better to do less rounds and do it properly? You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the question is it better to do fewer rounds with high quality than to do more rounds with lower quality?
Yes.
Is that yes.
Yes.
This is a very good question. It's a very universal and persistent question that many devotees have asked. And I've reflected on it quite a bit. It's actually good. It's like, yeah, it makes sense, right? Isn't it better to do 2 really good rounds than to do 16 really lame rounds? Right? So, of course, no. I'm saying no in a clear way. It's not a replacement for your committed quota. For an initiated devotee, the standard should remain finishing the promised rounds, 16 rounds. Because that promise is part of our shelter under Srila Prabhupada and Guru. There's a reason why they make us promise to do a certain number of rounds. See, in this book, Japa Walks talks, right? Guru Maharaj strongly emphasizes that even if chanting is difficult, we should not abandon the ship of the quota. Now, the main point is don't reduce the number, improve the tension within that number. So keep your quota full, but choose a few rounds as your protected rounds, the golden rounds. So I'm saying don't like stop your 16 rounds. That's the point. The analogy I've given before, someone says it's better just do 1 round really good. Suppose like, because qualities matter. So I told you, right? I have got the top class rice grown in the foothills of the Himalayas and harvested at the peak of perfection, and then cooked in the best spring water. A lot of love. His best basmati rice is so fragrant, perfectly cooked, and then served with this incredibly golden yellow ghee from New Zealand, the best of the best of the best. And I give you a bowl of it. I said, but you can only have 3 grains. It's not going to do anything. In a sense, There is something to be said for quantity also. Yeah, you can say, but the quality is there. What's your problem? But you can only have 3 grains. It's not even going to go to the back of your throat. They'll just get stuck in your teeth. It's not nearly enough. There's something to be said for the quantity because we do need some quantity. Our body doesn't absorb everything. So we have to have minimum. In fact, 16 rounds is the minimum negotiated number. The actual standard is 64. So yes, try to add quality and bring quality, but do not compromise on the sankhya. Sankhya is the number. In fact, this number is glorified in songs. Did you know that? I don't know if you know there's a bhajan that glorifies this quantity of chanting. Did you know that? The 6 Goswamis, Shad Goswami Astakam says, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nativir. That the 6 Goswamis is so wonderful. They always finish their sankhya, the number of rounds that they promised. That's something that we sing about it. So there's some value to that. That's the one thing we promise at initiation. We don't promise anything else. We'll do this number of rounds. Let me give you another story, a quick one. That kind of highlights the point, okay? There was a man who was really sick. Really sick. He was so sick, he'd lost so much weight. He was just skin and bones. Why? Because his system had become so bad, digestive system had become so weak and bad that anytime he ate anything, within 2 minutes, he'll throw up. And everything would come out, like nothing would stay, like hardly any, and he'd eat a lot. He would try to eat a lot, but he kept losing weight, because every time he ate something, he'd throw up. So he kept making it simpler, like make the khichdi simple, don't put any salt in it, don't make it in oil, so at least try to, digest it. Nothing. He just kept losing weight. Went to the doctor. This very smart Ayurvedic doctor said, okay, well, I'm going to prescribe for you 1.5 kgs of ghee. Just take it with a spoon. What? Are you kidding me? I can barely digest plain khichdi. You want me to take spoonfuls of ghee? I don't know, just do it. 1.5 kgs of ghee. Yeah, but I'm just going to throw up like even more violently. Just listen to me. Just do 1.5 kgs of ghee. I know it's not easy to hold down. Throwing up anyway, might as well throw up ghee. Fine. So he started taking this ghee, the quantity, and he would keep throwing it up. But after a month, he started gaining weight. Started becoming a little chubby. And he started getting some color, and his digestive system improved even. And he could now start taking a little bit of khichdi without throwing up also. And he went to the doctor. He's like, doctor, it's working. How did you do it? Well, the doctor said, you may think that you're throwing up everything. You may think that you're not absorbing anything. But because the quality of the food you're taking is so high, ghee is the most high quality, dense nutrition. And you're putting so much of it. The quantity is there too, not just the quality, because you're putting 1.5 kilos. Normal humans cannot eat that much, but because your quantity is there, your body has a chance to absorb just a little bit. That's our situation. You see, we are so conditioned, even if you have very high quality chanting, the absorbency in our conditioned state is very weak. So quantity does matter. It's a minimum. You see, you understand my point? Yeah. Thank you, Ramani Mataji. Hare Krishna. All right, we have Manoj Prabhu followed by Krishna Palita Mataji. Please go ahead, Manoj Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Such a wonderful presentation and talk. I just want to reflect maybe what has helped me. So it helped me in many situations, not just Japa. One is about when I start doing Japa, I always think that how I say Lord's name, that name was also said by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The difference that makes in my consciousness, but just thinking about it is amazing. Because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said Lord's name, Lord appears in front of Lord Chaitanya and does all the leelas in front of him. And that just increases the emotion, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That again multiplies. And I think I saw in the scriptures multiple times how gopis used to chant, how Mother Yashoda used to say the name of the Lord. There are multiple instances. So that has helped me immensely. In fact, every time I struggle with something, for example, when I'm thinking I'm weak, I'm alone, I'm suffering, I'm dying, I'm sick, scared of things, I'm forgetting, I'm wasting all my breaths. What am I doing, right? I'm sinning. But every time I think about that, if I try to connect with Prahlad Maharaj, for example, how he was saying Lord's name, how Dhruv Maharaj was saying, that has helped me. I don't know what's your experience on what are the kind of other things that we can think which are, strengthen us. Maybe I think chant, talks like this, reading scriptures. Yeah. So any reflection on that? What is what can connect us like the single nugget, right? There's so many instructions.
Yeah, you mentioned there's already so many good ones, certain scriptures, certain stories that really boost our faith, boost our well, we read about heroes of chanting. These are heroes like Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Haridas Thakur. So many examples. Even Queen Kunti's prayers, they give us some very deep clues on how to chant, what we should get excited about. If you're asking what scriptures can really help you boost, of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, particularly the Shikshashtakam. Shikshashtakam is nothing but basically a japa retreat in a nutshell. It's all about japa. Every single word in there is about chanting. If you look at Shikshashtakam, verse number 1, cleaning the mirror of the heart, that's completely Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sankirtanam means, of course, like you have in your background, the devotees, Mahaprabhu, everybody doing Sankirtan as a group. But Sankirtan also means complete Kirtan, Samyak Kirtan. Means even as yourself, you're chanting deeply Japa, there is also Sankirtan. It's a complete glorification of the holy name. That also counts as Param Vijayate Krishna Sankirtanam. Second verse, Krishna has invested all his potencies in the holy name. Not one of his potencies is missing. You don't have to think, oh, the holy name doesn't have Krishna's pastimes, doesn't have his beauty, doesn't have his form. So I have to now think about those and stick it in my brain. No, the name has it. The name has everything. Not one or two potencies. He says, Nija Sarva Shaktis, every single one of his Shaktis are there. But what is our Durdevam? Our misfortune is that we lack attraction. And who is crying? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who is Radha and Krishna themselves. He is crying. They have no taste. So he's teaching us to cry for that. Verse 3, humility, tolerance, respect. Verse 8, the mood of full surrender. It doesn't matter if you're here or not here. So on. So Shikshashtakam is there. There's so many scriptural references, of course, we can meditate on. Ajamil section. Generally, think of the power of the holy name. Ajamil could be saved by that. Chaitanya Charitamrita is all over the place. Nectar of Instruction is a good one. If you're looking for reading suggestions, I can definitely suggest there's a Japa Transformations book, Japa Reform Notebook, Begging for the Nectar of the Holy Name, Nectar and Ocean of the Holy Name. These are some of the books by my Guru Maharaj, Sasarup Maharaj, and also by Satyananda Swami. Excellent books. Read those books like really slowly and carefully. You'll get so much out of it. Is that okay, Manoj Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, Krishna Palita Mataji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. So nice to see you.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances, Madana-gopāla Prabhu. I first came in contact with your explanation of how to chant Japa just a couple of days ago, and Trupti Mataji shared in the group. I have read a couple books on chanting Japa. I've been chanting Japa for a while, but it's so refreshing to hear you, to listen to some hints, and a couple of them that you have said. I never have done it. One was to keep a diary next to myself, and every time I'm interrupted on my chanting, I write down the worry or what's bothering me, what's coming, and I'm telling my mind, now there's no worry. Now there's no this. I'm here with the Lord. So that's very beautiful. Another thing also that I'd like to share, it's I think I have throughout the years done my own way of keeping my mind steady. One of them has been to have to be in front of my altar, and when my mind wanders, then I offer every round, for example, for each of the 6 Goswamis, or for the Panchatattva, for each one of them. But one of the things that I think it's keeps me going, and I think it's very strong. Besides, of course, is Madana, which is the first one to listen. It's the Sadhu Sangha, and this group here is what makes me wake up in the morning to listen to everyone that's doing the service. So I think I'm calling from Barcelona, and what we have here, it's when we have this the Sadhu Sangha, it makes us to be strong, and to listen to everyone. It makes us not to give up as well. But I think that sometimes in the pressure to do the 16 rounds, we end up forgetting that we're here just not to outperform, to beat the number, but rather to pronounce every single syllable, to be really present. And it is difficult. There are some days we're 100% in some rounds, and in others we are not. So throughout the years, I guess you have matured your Japa, and that's why you speak so clearly. But I do want to confess that it was easier to chant the Japa when I first started. And I'm renewing every time my vows. Once I did in front of Agni and of my Gurudev, but I'm renewing every time, and I try to chant with Srila Prabhupada and be strong every day. But I have to say that some days it's very tough. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your wonderful journey, and it's inspiring, Krishna Palita Mataji. Yeah. Even when I look back at my own life, sometimes I do feel the same exact way, that maybe in the beginning, earlier days, it was easier. Like it was more exciting, isn't it? Like you look forward to it, like you can't wait. And now it's a little bit worn out. And so I think, is there hope for me? Am I going the wrong direction? Like as years pass by, am I getting less excited now? Is my enthusiasm waning? And that's a question. I mean, and you didn't ask the question, but it's a question I ask sometimes. Yeah. In this book, Japa Walks, Japa Talks, Guru Maharaj addresses this exact feeling. Devotees remembered how exciting chanting felt in the early years, when the beads were new. So his answer is very comforting, that we can't artificially go back in time and become beginners again. But that doesn't mean that the wonder is gone. Now we can rediscover the wonder of maturity and loyalty, which we didn't have back then because it's new. You can't be loyal when you just started something. And all these years, you're still chanting. That has its own novelty, that has its own excitement, that has its own sense of enthusiasm. It's a different flavor. It's a mature, deeper sense of wonder. Wow, it's so wonderful that Prabhupada, you're so kind. Given my own tendencies, I would have left a long time ago, but you kept me here. That's amazing. And that makes us thrilled again. A different thrill, different flavor. But that flavor was not available back then. It's available now. You see? So there's always some thrill available to us. We just have to find it. Thank you, Krishna Bhagavatam. Brigitte, please go ahead. Please unmute.
Accept my obeisances, Maharaj. Thank you so much for this. Yes, it's very good to hear all this way to come back. For me, it's still very new chanting. It's only a few years, and I'm preparing to get initiated, I hope, someday. So I'm not yet at 16, to be honest. But I find it when I hear Krishna Palista saying, I renew my vow, or the joy, or the chanting, this excitement, I'm not sure I feel this, but I know in the morning I want to connect with the group of London because it helps me to stay on target at least. And even if I wake up, even if my eyes are all full of fog, I come and I am telling myself that the fact I'm coming, I'm doing it, even though I'm sure it's not perfect and I make offenses, I'm not attentive. I'm at least making the effort. And when the mind is incredibly busy, thoughts all the time, what I sometimes do, I look at my altar, or because I have it more in my consciousness, friends, deities, because I go there sometime. I'm calling you from Switzerland. I try to picture the face of the deity in my head when I chant. And I think that maybe, I hope, I don't know if it's working, but I hope it's connecting me more to the name. Or sometime I write in the air, in space, in my mind, the mantra. And then I follow the letter I'm writing in the space, in space. And I hope that is working somehow, because I'm not sure. I read this morning, we have card from some devotee did this. It's from Sachidananda Maharaj. And it's written today, I really chanting the holy name. And I'm like, what does that mean? Although we may not have yet achieved a deepest sustainable taste for chanting, we still want to be in a state of consciousness where we feel fortunate to be chanting. This consciousness allows us to better relish the opportunity we have to chant the holy name. In a pure stage of bhakti, we will always relish chanting the holy name. This affirmation is meant to remind all of us that I, the soul, certainly relish chanting, even when we are not fully experiencing it. And I must say honestly that I don't know what that means, relishing chanting the holy name. It's 20 cards and I pull one before I chant. I don't know what that means really. I think sometimes I'm doing it hoping that sometime I will have maybe a millisecond of consciousness and relishing, but I'm still doing it, even though I'm not sure I'm feeling all what we talk about in the book. So I don't know if my sharing is doing something good, but I wanted to share that, and maybe you had some few more points to help me to stay steady and increase the round. That's what I want to say. I'm sorry, but I think I'm the newest one and the less, you say, the less practitioner of this whole group of advanced devotees here, but are coming in it anyway because somehow they're pulling me in, they're carrying me through, and I thank them for this service. So I don't know what we have to say from what I share, but I wanted to say that. And maybe looking at the altar, imagining the face of the deity, or writing the name in the air and focusing on the letter. Maybe that's helpful. I don't know if what I'm doing is right. Thank you.
Merci, Brigitte. Thank you for your beautiful words. Yes. First of all, you are so far ahead, much more than you think, primarily because you're open and honest. A lot of the time, it takes us years and years to come to the point of being honest with ourselves. Second, so you mentioned the two things, trying to visualize the deity form. And the other thing is trying to visualize the names, the letters of the names. So from what I understand, because when we chant, the focus should be on the name specifically. Visualizing the letters is actually, in one sense, more powerful than visualizing the deity form. Because again, your focus is on the name. You see, as you're chanting and you visualize the name is the main thing. And so if you embrace the name, inside the name, everything is there. Usually we don't perceive right now, you know. But of course, you're asking a very deep question about what does it mean to relish? I don't know what you're talking about. You guys saying you relish in the holy name. I have no clue. What do you mean by this relishing? Isn't it? So,
yeah.
See, one thing is true, that you've tasted something. There's something about the chanting process that has kept you going day after day. Although you'd have given it up a long time ago, after 2 weeks or something. There's nothing here. We know there's a need to renew our enthusiasm. Even if I do not yet have the taste or even don't understand what it means to relish, I can chant with some excitement about what am I excited about? That every round is bringing me closer to Krishna. And I know Krishna has his relationship with me. I feel something. Forget about chanting. I know in my heart there's some excitement about Krishna. I love God, or I want to love God, at least. I understand God is there. Baseline, very core base thirst of the soul, that I want a relationship with God. Now, one example I can give you is Akrura. If you know Akrura, are you familiar with Akrura in the Bhagavatam? Brigitte, so Akrura was the charioteer who was sent by Kamsa to Vrindavan to bring Krishna to Kamsa in Mathura. Okay. Now, Akrura is also a great devotee, by the way. He's related to Krishna, right? And even though he was going, as he was going by the chariot, he's not met Krishna, but he's going on a chariot to meet Krishna. So Akrura is traveling from Mathura to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balaram back to Kansa. Externally, he's on a dangerous mission. He was carrying out Kansa's order, but internally, his heart was flooded with sweet anticipation. What is anticipation? Today I will see Krishna because he's a great devotee. I'm excited, I get to see him. Today my eyes will become successful. Today the Lord of my life will be before me. This is called Manorath, Akrura Manorath, the chariot of the mind. His body was on the physical chariot going toward Vrindavan, but his mind was already racing ahead toward Vrindavan. That mood can transform our japa. Sometimes they say, I don't have taste in the holy name. I don't even know what you guys say you relish. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have taste. But lack of taste does not mean lack of hope. Like Akrura. Akrura had not seen Krishna. You see the difference. He doesn't have the experience of relishing Krishna's beauty, but he's hopeful. And that hope is itself exciting. You see. Akrura had not seen Krishna at that moment. He was still on the road. But the anticipation itself became ecstatic because he knew, I'm going toward Krishna. This is the path. We all know the chanting is the path to Krishna. That path itself is also exciting. Just like Akrura was excited, not having seen Krishna. So similarly, during japa, we may not feel any taste or deep taste, maybe some taste. But every mantra is not just a repetition. Every mantra is a movement, a step of the chariot wheel turning toward Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. I don't have taste, that's okay. But one day I will see him, Krishna. And that's excitement. Everyone's like a turn of his chariot wheel. I'm not yet fully absorbed, but I'm moving toward Krishna. I'm not yet tasting prema, love, but I'm facing the direction of Krishna. I'm not yet free from distraction, but I'm not going away from Krishna. I'm going toward Krishna. And that's what matters. This is where anticipation becomes enthusiasm. So this neophyte enthusiasm says, I'm feeling something wonderful right now. I taste it. It's very nice. But mature enthusiasm says, even if I don't feel something that's wonderful right now, I know whom I'm going toward. And that is Akrura's mood. Akrura is an elderly gentleman, by the way. He's not a young man. He had seen life. He knows what the world is about. He's mature, but he understands the mood, and his excitement was just as fresh as a young person. So in Japa, we can think like that. Maybe this round is dry, and this round is not so great, but it's taking me closer to Krishna. See? So,
Yeah.
Is that okay, Brigitte?
Yeah, yes, thank you. The only thing I'm a bit worried about is I hear devotees, they make 16 rounds in 2 hours, 2.5. And at the moment, honestly, I make 8 rounds in 2 hours. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm never going to be able to do 4 hours of round when I commit to my guru. So it's very scary. I'm like, well, how come it's possible? Where is my mind? But I think I'm a bit present, maybe a second on 2 hours. I don't know. So how do you all do it, to do it so fast? I don't get this. And I'm wondering about my quality, because it's like, yes. And when I talk about the deities, I try to visualize them like I'm in the room doing the japa in front of them, in that sense, like I'm not here in this Switzerland apartment, but I'm there in New Mayapur in front of the deity. And I thought maybe visualizing them in that way. But I understand what you say. It's better with the letter. But I thought doing that, because I'm there, it's maybe more potent, more quality, and I do it better, but it's all my imagination.
Yeah, we tend to think we need to do more with the mind and engage it somewhere else, but the mind needs to be engaged in the sound of the name. In terms of regarding your speed, doing 16 rounds in 2.5 hours is not that hard. I'll tell you a pace. Like a pace like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's not too fast. You can hear every name. At that pace, you can do about 8 minutes to round.
Okay.
So 8 minutes to round is about 2 hours, a little bit, 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's not so bad. So maybe try that pace. Sometimes to keep pace, it's not unreasonable to chant at that pace. We're not chanting super fast, not super slow. The clarity is there. You can hear each name, and you can focus nicely. You can call out with love and feeling. Sure. So give it a shot with that pace. You don't have to jump to very fast speed right away. We can increase it gradually. Maybe, instead of doing your 8 rounds in 2 hours, see if you can do it 1.5 hours. That might be okay. Just raise it a little bit, just to crank it up a little bit to try to pick up pace. Maybe practice some breathing exercise. Sometimes we don't have breath. So if you do some pranayama breathing, yesterday we did a Japa retreat on Monday, a day-long Japa retreat, and we practiced breathing. We did some stretching exercises so you can sit properly. We do what we can to improve our Japa experience. Just 5 minutes of exercise is not too much. So those kind of things may help. Another thing may help is you can play Prabhupada's Japa tape in the background to get a sense of the pace, or maybe just play it for a few minutes first to get a pace, and then you can turn it off, and you can start at that pace. Some practice, you'll be able to make it, I'm pretty sure. Right, Brigitte?
Thank you very much for your time and explanation.
Thank you for beautiful questions and your sharing. It's very much appreciated. Okay, Sandeep Prabhu, go ahead, please.
Firstly, my humble obeisances to Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. It truly opened my eyes to the importance of japa, how it should be performed, and how can I improve the quality of my chanting. I was committing so many offenses previously, like while driving or while with the kids or doing different activities. Still, I was doing Japa, but after the class, it truly opened my eyes. I have a very basic question about the practice of chanting 16 rounds. What is the significance of the number 16? Why did Prabhupada prescribe 16 rounds significantly rather than 10, 20, 50, and so on? Is there any particular spiritual or scriptural practical reason behind this standard?
Yes, it's a good question, very often asked question. And the answer is remarkably simple and probably even boring. There's nothing mystical about the number 16 at all. There's nothing scriptural even about number 16 at all. The standard for our followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Gaudiya lineage, the standard is 64 rounds a day. The standard is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the standard that Prabhupada used to follow. It's a standard that Prabhupada gave to his ISKCON followers. You may not be aware. He said, okay, you guys have chant 16 rounds a day. 64 rounds a day. And his disciples, the early ones said, Prabhupada, that's 64. That's impossible. That's like 8 hours. How's that even doable? How can you do anything else? Just chant rounds and go to sleep. 8 hours is insane. Prabhupada, we can't do this. Prabhupada said, okay, fine. 32 then, okay? Make it half. I'll meet you halfway. I said, no, even 32 is way too much, Prabhupada. I mean, we're also trying to do some seva and book distribution. We go out preaching, we do harinams, and we have to cook in the temple and clean and maintain so much stuff. 32 is quite unreasonable, Prabhupada. It's probably, okay, fine. 16, no less. That's it. No more negotiation. 16, the bedrock. If you do any less, you'll not get anything. Like you'll get no nourishment that you need. Without 16, you'll just dry up. Absolute minimum. So 16 is a negotiated number. It's nothing to do with anything scriptural or anything. You understand? So historically, that's where it came from. There's no other exotic or esoteric. Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you all very much. We have gone quite a bit of time, and I appreciate your participation. Thank you, Snehal Prabhu, for coordinating technology as always. It's always a joy to see you and see all of you. And Trupti Mataji, my obeisances again for kindly inviting me to get some time with all of you. Sometimes I feel that I'm teaching you, but actually I'm learning from all of you. You shape me more than I can shape you. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.